In the heart of a dusty, sun-baked village in northern Ghana, there lived a girl named Abena. She was only 16, but life had made her older in ways she could not count. Her father had died when she was 6, her mother was often sick, and her 2 little brothers depended on her for everything, from cooking their evening porridge to patching their torn shirts with trembling hands. Abena sold groundnuts by the roadside to feed her family. Each morning before the cock crowed, she would walk to the nearby bush to gather firewood, balancing it on her head as the early sun began its climb. Her feet were bare, her dress faded, yet her spirit was not broken. She had a habit. Whenever she walked past the old well by the baobab tree, she would fill her calabash with water for strangers who passed through the village. The elders used to tell her, "Child, the road is long, and a sip of water can save a life." One blazing afternoon, when the heat made the ground so hot you could almost hear it hiss, Abena saw a man sitting under the baobab tree. He was old, his back bent like a question mark, his clothes tattered, his feet cracked and dusty. He looked like a beggar who had wandered far from home. The man's eyes were half closed, his lips dry. Abena approached him. "Grandfather," she said softly, "are you well?" The old man shook his head slowly. His voice was a whisper. "Water, please." Without hesitation, Abena knelt, placed her bundle of firewood on the ground, and poured the last of her water into a gourd. She held it to his lips and watched him drink, the water spilling down his gray beard. When he finished, she tore a piece from the small loaf of bread she had saved for her lunch. She gave it to him without thinking of her own hunger. "Eat, grandfather," she urged. The old man's eyes shone with something she couldn't name. He took the bread, chewing slowly, then looked at her for a long time. "You have a kind heart, child," he murmured. "Not many share with a stranger when they themselves have little." Abena smiled shyly. "In our village we say, if you have only 1 coin, use it to buy bread, and share the bread." She thought that was the end of it. She helped him stand, and even walked him to the shade of her family's hut so he could rest. That night she gave him a mat to sleep on, while she herself slept on the floor beside her brothers. The next morning, before the rooster crowed, the old man was gone. Abena thought little of it. Strangers came and went. She returned to her daily struggles. But 3 days later, a convoy of shiny black cars rolled into the village, an unusual sight that drew everyone out of their homes. From the largest car stepped the same old man she had helped, but now he was wearing an immaculate white akbada, his shoes gleaming. Behind him were men in suits, carrying boxes. The villagers murmured in shock. Abena froze, her heart pounding. The man walked straight to her and smiled. "Child," he said, "I did not tell you my name. I am Chief Nana Mensa. I own lands across this country. People call me a billionaire, but wealth without kindness is emptiness. I disguised myself as a poor man because I wanted to see if true kindness still lived in people's hearts." Abena's mouth fell open. The whole village was silent. He turned to the crowd. "This girl gave me her last water, her bread, and her shelter. She did not know who I was. Such a heart deserves to be lifted." From the boxes, his men pulled out food, clothes, and school supplies for Abena's family. Then he handed her a folded document. "This," he said, "is a scholarship for you to attend the best school in the region, all the way to university. And here," he pressed a small key into her palm, "is a new home for your family, built in the town, with running water." Tears filled Abena's eyes. She knelt, but the old man lifted her to her feet. "Stand tall, child. Kindness bows to no one. It lifts the giver higher." The villagers cheered. Abena's mother wept into her scarf, and her brothers clung to her dress. From that day on, Abena's life changed, but she never stopped carrying water for strangers. Years later, when she became a doctor, she would tell her students, "Wealth may be hidden under rags, and need may be hidden behind a smile. Help without asking who, because you never know whose life or whose heart you are touching."